When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Did you ever tell him that that's not how it works, that he's supposed to put it in a separate interest-bearing account?
A separate account, collecting interest, and he was supposed to let us know what bank and everything, but he never did.
Okay, and what was his response when you told him that?
He says that he doesn't have to give me my deposit, but that he's going to, that he just needs more time, that he's going through a lot. It was like, many excuses.
All right, so you keep asking for your deposit for how many months?
It was over a year.
A year?
These are the plaintiffs, Carlos and Brittany Quijada. Carlos says he and his wife rented a house from the defendant, but decided not to renew their lease, which upset the defendant. They were very nice to him. They let him show the place to new tenants, and when they asked for the return of their security, the guy told them he wasn't giving them back a penny. So now they're suing him for the $4,800 they're owed. This is the defendant, Neil. He says he's been a landlord in multiple states for 43 years, so he knows his rights. The plaintiff didn't give him the required 60 days notice when they didn't want to renew their lease. And if anyone's owed money today, it certainly is not them, because the rules are the rules. He's accused of refusing a refund. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $2,070 for a loss of rent.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome,
okay. Carlos and Brittany Quijada, you are suing Meridian Prime Ventures, represented here by Mr. Neal, for $4,800, your security deposit, and treble damages. You have a counterclaim against them for unpaid rent. All right, let me hear from you first.
All right, so on April of 2019, we moved into and signed a 1-year lease.
It's a house?
No, it's an apartment.
An apartment, and it's where?
Elizabeth.
New Jersey.
New Jersey, yes.
Okay, go on.
And we signed a 1-year lease to an apartment.
And how much was the rent?
The rent was $1,600.
And how much was there a security deposit?
Yes.
And how much was the security deposit?
It was $1,600.
Okay, go on.
So we signed a lease for 1 year, and after the year was up, we never renewed the lease and became month-to-month tenants.
Okay.
Then in the beginning of July 2021, we decided to move, and we let
what kind of notice did you give him?
It wasn't through writing, it was through over phone.
All right, when do you say you did that?
In the beginning of July.
Okay, and when did you move?
August.
At the end of August or the beginning of August?
No, in the beginning of August.
August 1st. August 1st, okay. All right, so go on.
We let him know, and when we moved out, we left everything clean. There was no damages.
What was his reaction when you said you were moving?
He wasn't happy because he says that I should have let him know 60 days ahead of time. And I told him that, because he said, because of the lease, in the lease it says that 60 days ahead of time we had to let him know. But then I told him we never signed a new lease.
Right.
And the lease that we had, it doesn't have 60 days. It said month-to-month tenants have 15 days.
15 days too.
Okay. So he actually used you to do stuff at this place, but also at other places that he rents out, right? Do you not live in the area? Like, are you?
I live in Florida, Your Honor.
You live in Florida. Where in Florida?
Naples.
Okay.
Yes.
Would he use you to do things around that property and other properties that he had in the area?
It was mostly just that property. I had to cut grass, clean the hallways.
And then he would give you like a break in rent?
It was just $50.
Okay. When you say clean the hallways, is there anybody else living there?
Well, it's a two-family house plus the attic.
Okay.
And then I will have to clean the hallways because sometimes people will leave garbage there.
When you say it was mostly that, but did you also do other things for other houses or other places?
So one time that he asked me to go to a house in Newark just to show it or to fix like an appliance. And then for showing an apartment in Newark, I did.
Okay. So you leave and you're expecting the security deposit, and how does the discussion go?
Well, he said that he will give it back. That as soon as he has somebody move in there, gets the deposit from them, and he'll give me mine back. And he just never did.
Did you ever tell him that that's not how it works, that he's supposed to put it in a separate interest-bearing account?
A separate account, collecting interest, and he was supposed to let us know what bank and everything, but he never did.
Okay, and what was his response when you told him that?
He says that he doesn't have to give me my deposit, but that he's going to, that he just needs more time, that he's going through a lot. It was like, many excuses.
All right, so you keep asking for your deposit for how many months?
It was over a year.
A year? All right, and during that year, he's telling you, I just need more time? Didn't he rent, he rent it out?
He did. He ended up renting it out like,
August.
We showed the apartment while we were still living there.
Right, but how do you know when he rented it out?
He kind of just told us that he already chose the woman that we showed the apartment to, that he chose her. And then we have a neighbor that she had a cousin that was living with her and she wanted to move into the apartment. And when she sent him texts asking if they could move in,
he said it wasn't available.
He said it wasn't available.
All right, so why won't you return the security deposit?
First of all, I said to him, look, you're great, you're wonderful. Both of them were just terrific tenants. They did multiple things for me, not just one or two things. Showed apartments, collected rent for me, went to other properties where people needed certain electrical things handled, like on stoves. That's what he does. And he was terrific at all that. So on July 8th...
You described him better than he did. All right.
It's the truth, Your Honor.
Yeah.
And so
on July 8th...
July 8th, 2021, he told me that we had the property for sale at the time. And so he told me that the person who is buying the property told them that they have to move out. And
okay, who is so when you say you had it for sale, you had it under contract?
Didn't have a contract on it. No, that was sold another year.
So later. How is the person who's buying it talking to him?
But that never, exactly. He called me up on the 8th and told me he was very uncomfortable that the gentleman who said to him that was buying it said, you're going to have to pay, get out. You and all the other tenants are going to have to get out. He was very uncomfortable with that. And he said, look, obviously the person doesn't know the law. I don't even have a contract, so he has no authority to say that he's going to be the new owner. It's just nonsense. So I said to Carlos, and he said, that's all he said to me. He said that he wants to eventually move out. So then all of a sudden on the 28th of July, all of a sudden, and I have the text here that I gave, Your Honor, and so the whole thing is that on the 28th of July, he calls me up and he goes, oh, we moved out. And I said, what?
Hold on. I don't have text from you.
Okay, this is two parts here.
Actually, do you have it in your phone?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I prefer to see it in the phone. That way nothing's cut out.
I need these.
This is July of 2021, right?
Yes.
How do you guys have so much chatter after that? All right, hold on.
Well, you can see, yeah, he was still doing some work there.
He was still doing work for you, and you stiffed him on the... You have to do things in writing. But in any event, I do see on July 19th when you say, hey, Neil, can you call me when you have a chance? Please call me when you can. I just showed to two people. What's that?
That's that I showed the house.
Your own house or the other?
No, my own house, yeah. Well, I was showing the house and my apartment as well. So I was showing because he was selling Well, he sold. I was
What
showing
were
the
you
whole-
showing? What address were you showing? This address or a different address?
No, I
When
was
you
showing
say
this
that to him,
address.
what are you doing?
I was showing this address.
According to you, when he calls you on the 8th, he just tells you that he's thinking about moving. He doesn't say, I'm moving at
That's right.
the end of this month?
Yes, but Your Honor, I agreed to give them back their money as long as I can rent it out in a timely manner. It's not true. I showed you the leases, Your Honor, that was signed on the 6th of August.
Just give me the lease.
I'll just tell you the truth.
Yeah,
okay?
just hand it
So
to me.
This is more than just. So may I speak?
Can you wait? Because if you want me to see the lease, I have to see the lease.
Yes,
Hold
but
on.
there's multiple leases there. There's like, 4 of them.
Well, I only want the ones that have to do with his
No, that has to
space.
do with it. The first one was dated for the 8th of August, but they were Section 8. And because of the mandate at the time and because that everything was backed up, they didn't actually move in until the 6th of October. And I didn't get paid until February 2022.
Well, that's because you accepted Section 8. That's on you. But hold on. They moved in the 6th of October.
On the 6th of October.
Just a second. I've been doing this without you my whole life. Prove they entered on the 6th of October.
The lease is there, Your Honor.
Yeah, the lease says August 8th.
No, but if you continue, you'll see the rest of the other. It shows you the thread with Section 8 supervisor.
I'm looking at the lease for a thread, or am I looking at emails for a thread?
You're looking at the emails. That's the whole thread of all of them.
Okay, stop. Why would you wait? Why wouldn't you just rent it out?
Because, first of all, it was $400 more than Carlos was paying. That's number one. Number two is that, I dealt with Section 8 for many, many, many years. And I have to tell you, because of the mandate, because of the backup, is the only reason why it took so long. Usually, I could get them in, and within 30 days or so, I can have a HAP contract with the government. And this didn't happen. So it kept on getting pushed out.
Right, but how is that his fault? In other words, you have a counterclaim now against him for August and September and 6 days in October. Why is it his fault that you chose to go the route of the secure money during COVID when a lot of people, when whatever it is? You made some decisions. Why would that be his fault?
Well, because really it was the only option. And when he said that...
Why is it the only option?
Because I have outside agents that do not work for us, that bring us like real estate people, real estate agents, or people that have rental agencies, and it's out there, it's carte blanche.
Well, how much notice did he have to give you? And you're
60 days.
Says who?
Well, according to what I usually have, and they just said 15
You usually
days
have where?
in the lease.
Did you read the lease in this case? Because your answer reads like you hadn't read the lease.
No, well, of course 15 days, but the
Okay, so why are you saying, why are you, just a second, why are you suing for 60 plus days of rent? And why did you look me in the eye under oath and tell me he has to give me 60 days? If you've read the lease, you know that you're wrong. That's not true.
Yeah, well,
what?
Nothing to say.
That's right. You have nothing to say, but other than making me feel like you think I'm not going to read the lease.
No, that's not true.
You know I'm going to read the lease.
Your Honor,
why don't you read the lease before you come here, before you tell him he has to give you 60 days?
100%.
How many days does he have to give you?
15 days.
That's right. How many days would he have to give you if you hadn't put that in the contract?
60 days.
No, 30 days. He would have to give you 30 days. Or he would have to give you 60 days if you wrote in the contract, if it goes month to month, you agree to give me 60 days. Or you could have him give you 20 years. Probably a judge would find that unconscionable and not enforce it. But you can contract to do whatever you want. What you contracted to do was for each side had to give each other 15 days notice, right? And that's it, 15 days notice. So you are absolutely 100% entitled to 15 days notice. All right. According to you, he doesn't tell you until the 28th. According to you, you tell him in the beginning of July. Who do you think is going to have to prove that facet of the case? Him or you?
I'm guessing me.
That's right.
I didn't think I would have, because I had to call him.
I know.
I called him.
I know, but if you had read the lease, you would know it says in writing. And that's because we don't want to have these contests in court. We want to have proof.
I mean, he says the 28th, but he had me showing the apartment, as you could see in the text message.
Okay, I can't tell, but that's the best interpretation for you is that you're showing your own place. I don't know, because you show other places for him too, so I don't know. But the best interpretation for you is that on the 19th, you're showing the place. Were you present for any conversations they had, or they just had him on their own?
I mean, he was around me every now and then when he was talking to him.
Were you around on the notice issue or not really?
I don't think I was that day.
the irony is that the guy's fighting for his security deposit, and you have him working for you for how long after this?
Well, I don't understand what's wrong with that.
Nothing.
I made it very
It's
clear.
nothing. It's just unusual.
Yes.
Because
But he's not a bad guy.
no,
This is
that's
not a bad
no.
thing.
I know it's really good
Yeah.
for you. It's unusual for him to continue to work for you. I guess, are you paying him to work for you?
Of course.
Right. So it just is so weird that in the same. I know I can see from the text that you will occasionally say, "What's going on with my security deposit?" And what does he answer you when you ask him that?
He either doesn't respond back, he ignores me, and then that's a one long text that he says that I'm not entitled to no deposit, that he's doing it out of the kindness of his heart and whatnot.
Did you ever send him a letter detailing why you were keeping his security deposit
No,
in writing?
I did not.
You know
Usually
you're
that's-
supposed to,
of
though,
course,
right?
Of course. And
you also know that his deposit is supposed to be in a separate interest-bearing
yes,
account.
without a doubt.
All right, so everybody's playing fast and loose.
And we also have, listen. Your
So
Honor,
why didn't you,
I
out of
have-
curiosity, then why didn't you send him his security deposit if you told
I'll
him
tell
you
you
would?
why. Because instead of dealing with my company and all the different people that people deal with, I dealt with him personally, and it was more of a personal type thing. And you know what? I broke.
No, that's why you told him you'd pay him. My question is, why didn't you pay him?
I broke. Oh, because.
In October, why didn't you pay him? When the government gave you all that money, why didn't you pay him then?
I went back in February. Well, you mean I had to wait till February when the government?
Oh,
gave me
because the
money.
person moved in. Well, yeah, but that's
I
on
understand. I
right. You
understand.
know
It's a
that.
moot point.
Didn't they pay the security deposit though before the person can move in?
Well, here's the thing, okay? And I don't want to open up a can of worms, but now I suppose we have to. I acknowledge that regardless. I would like to see his receipt because it's a third party that dealt with it. And, Your Honor, I looked myself in and out, had my bookkeepers look in and out for the deposit. There's no deposit. And where we keep our security deposits in a holding account, there's nothing. So did we never received it from the
Okay, this is a new thing you're
Yes,
saying.
but
before what you said was his deposit was only $1,400 because that's what you were charging then, which is how I know you never read the lease.
No.
Did you read the lease?
I do know the lease. Yes,
What does
I
the
do.
lease say about the security deposit amount?
That it must be, it's a law, I know, and normally in my leases ahead of time, we have the actual deposit where it is in the lease that we sign, but they have to give us the lease first. Okay, so in this case, I did a lot of things that weren't protocol
Right,
with Carlos.
but at a minimum, if you read that lease, you know that it says, I hereby acknowledge receiving $1,600 security deposit.
Yeah, well, actually, they were signed before the lease.
Tough
before
for
we
you.
got the
It's
money.
what it says.
I understand.
It says $1,600 security. We're sitting here nickel and diming. A guy who's like a really good contact for you because he's responsible, he's handy, and now you have blown that as an absentee landlord over demanding he pay rent when the only thing he's got to do is give you 15 days notice. And then not only are you saying I'm not returning your security deposit, you're here suing for 2.5 months and thinking you're a good guy because you don't sue for rent until February, as though there's a planet where a month-to-month tenant would have to pay you rent more than the 15 days according to the contract you drafted. And according to this contract that you drafted, he paid you the $1,600. And we're still arguing about whether it's 14 or nothing because you have bad bookkeeping records. Come on. Oy, oy, oy.
Blinds.com is kicking off the savings early with Black Friday mega deals all month long. A Blinds.com design expert can help you make the perfect selection on your schedule. We can even handle everything from measure to your whole home installed for just one low cost. With over 25 million windows covered, Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Get up to 45% off site-wide, plus premium doorbusters and a free professional measure. Now at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Wishing for a body wash made with natural ingredients? Dr. Squatch has got you covered. Manly scents that make you irresistible, a thick lather that leaves your skin moisturized all day. No matter what you're looking for in a body wash, rest assured Dr. Squatch is your best bet. Pick up one today in store or at drsquatch.com. It's Dr. Squatch Body Wash for men who prefer natural.
Where do you get this treble damages thing?
Well, in the state of New Jersey, that if he doesn't return it, the deposit within 30 days is up to 3 times.
3 times? Show me that. That's not what I'm seeing, but go ahead. Oh, who told you that? What was that? Gossip by the water cooler? Or?
No, I can't find it.
All right.
Yeah, we didn't print that out.
That's one thing we did.
Okay. Just hold on, folks. In the state of New Jersey, you were required to return a tenant's security deposit along with accrued interest within 30 days of the termination of the tenant's lease, less any charges expended in accordance with the terms of the lease itself, for example, damages or rent. Any deductions the landlords make must be itemized, and the notice must be forwarded to the tenant in writing. I mean, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? And the answer is double, not treble.
Yeah.
Okay. The recovery would be limited to double the amount wrongfully withheld. Were there any damages to the place? Well, it doesn't matter because you never sent the letter saying that, and there weren't anyway, right?
No.
Right. So persuade me now that it wasn't wrongfully withheld. I mean, it's so blatantly wrong of you to tell him that he owes you 60 days, especially when you're telling him over and over again, don't worry, I'm going to pay you, don't worry, I'm going to pay you, and you get him to work for you. Why are you working for him if the guy's not paying you back the security deposit?
I mean,
that's the better question.
It's really,
I know why he's doing it, because you're a good worker. Why are you continuing to work for him? Particularly when he's not giving you that many, like, in other words, I don't understand why you're not mad.
Well, I was upset, and I would call him and text him. But the thing is, like, he's saying that I'm a good tenant and everything. We had a good, tenant landlord relationship. We would talk. He'll tell me whatever, was going on with his life.
You just really thought he was going to pay you.
I really did. Like, I understand that.
And with all the times that you told the man you were going to pay him, why didn't you?
Well, because what happened in January. Okay, now I had the intention of paying him as long as it was within 60 days in my mind. Okay, Your Honor.
60 days of what?
60 days of the time that if I was able to rent it within the 60 days, I was going to give him back his money. Okay, and I made that very clear.
But don't you also, even past the 60 days, still tell him you're going to give him back his money?
Well.
Yes or no?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
So that's not true. The reason you don't give them their money isn't because you didn't rent it out. Now February comes and you get all this back rent. Do you then give him back his money?
No, I did not.
No. And by the way, this isn't the only property you own, right?
No.
Right. And you still haven't given him his money. If you told him you were going to give him his money, if you got all the back rent from Section 8 months ago, why haven't you given him his money up to now?
I thought that I was in the right, Your Honor. I really did, from the bottom of my heart. I've been in this business. I help many, many families live in quality type homes. And the fact is that, I never.
Dude, you're in a business. You're a businessman running a business. You don't need to sound like a nonprofit to me. You have a right to earn a nickel.
Right. No, without a doubt.
I agree with you.
Course.
But here's the problem. You have certain obligations just like he has obligations.
Of course.
And you have flown in the face of all of them. You didn't keep his security deposit in a separate interest-bearing account. I know lots of people don't, but you're supposed to. You didn't send him a letter itemizing why you're keeping it. That is very important,
yes.
Because now you've kicked in the double clause,
yes.
Right? And, and you're like, oh, I'm doing, I've helped a lot of families. No, you're renting things out and you're getting, good dollar for them. But the worst part is that this guy's a good tenant, pays on time, and helps you with other places. And this is a guy who you chose to say no. After telling him over and over you were going to give him his money, and after he's super patient. It's not like he ran out and sued. It's like he waits and keeps doing work for you and keeps thinking you're a nice guy. And then February comes and you get back rent from Section 8 for all of those months, and you still don't give the guy his security deposit. Meanwhile, you would have a guy who you could trust, who communicates, who knows how to fix things, and now you've lost him. Please tell me he's lost you.
No, he did.
Because, honestly, I don't know.
No, I haven't even talked to him since February.
All right. Here's the only rub, okay? It's that I don't know when you notified him in writing, because I don't have that, because you didn't notify him in writing. So we have a contest between you guys, and I realize that pretty much on everything he's wrong, a contest between you guys about when you notified him.
I mean, he says the 28th, and like I said, if I would have told him the 28th, I would have never asked for the security deposit. I told him the beginning of July.
I believe you. You happen to live in a state where the law is that I can deem whether or not there's actual notice as opposed to written notice. And since I can't believe a word that comes out of his mouth, I'm going to find that there was actual notice and it was sufficient.
Your Honor, my yes is yes and my no is no. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Except for that, your answer to the complaint says the deposit was $14. Your testimony in front of me says there is no deposit. Do you realize how I cannot trust the things you're saying? I don't know whether you're deliberately lying or whether you are just mistaken. But I know that you're stringing the guy along to continue doing work for you, and then you get all that money in February, and then you still don't return the guys after telling him and stringing him along that you're going to. I know that you don't follow the law to the T on anything else that's involved, but keeping the security deposit separate, giving him reason and writing why you're keeping it. I know that you're insisting he needs to give you 60 days. You filed a counterclaim against him for 60 days when if you just read your own lease, you would know that it's 15, so I can't trust what comes out of your mouth. I'm ruling in favor of the plaintiff in this case in the amount of $3,200. That's my verdict. And on your counterclaim, 0.
So the plaintiff is going to get $3,200 back, not the $4,800 he was suing for, but hey, that's better than nothing. The defendant, Neil, is on his way out of the courtroom. Let's see how he responds to the judge's verdict. Neil, the judge gave you a rough time.
Yeah, but you know what? It's okay. She pointed out a lot of good things, and it's very hard. This situation is very difficult because of the relationship that me and the tenant had.
All right, well, it was interesting watching you squirm a little bit. Anyway, thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right, take care. Bye.
All right, now let's see what the defendants have to say. As I said, they get $3,200 back, not $4,800. Folks, how do you feel about the outcome of the trial?
I'm pretty happy.
You should be. You should be. So everything okay where you are now? And listen, I would imagine from now on you're going to read the fine print in any lease you signed and really stick to it, right?
Exactly. I take pictures and everything. It's just, for the landlord, it's still business, so you still got to take pictures and make sure you do everything so you can have proof.
Yeah. Well, you've learned something.
So, Doug, look, the burden is on the landlord if he withholds any security deposit, because any portion of a security deposit, they have a duty to itemize what it is they're withholding, and they have to justify it. If they don't, in many states, they can be docked 2 to 3 times the actual security.
What's your favorite home-cooked meal that your spouse makes?
Oh, that's easy.
Okay.
Breakfast.
Breakfast?
It is breakfast.
Well, I do make you breakfast just about every day.
You do make me breakfast just about every day that we're home.
Because who could screw up eggs? It's like...
No, but you really... people can screw up eggs, but you don't screw up eggs. You make the most perfect fried eggs. The white is cooked. It's not runny, but the yellow is runny. No, you... Plus, it's just delicious that, I wake up to...
Yeah, you never I don't get any complaints from you or the dog, who also loves my eggs. She stands by waiting, usually with her head on your lap.
Right, because she knows where her bread is buttered. But anyway, what's your answer if I were to have asked you that question?
You make really good pasta with vodka sauce, like homemade.
Yeah.
And with prosciutto.
I do. Guilty as charged.
That's really, really good.
Yeah,
and
that's
there's
my
one thing
recipe.
I've been trying to make this thing for you. I bought all the ingredients, and it's just...
Oh, you're not going to talk about that pasta with peas that you still haven't cooked?
Yes, it's called...
it's going to be great?
It's going to be great. I bought all this special ingredients.
We've been married 30 years. You've never cooked it.
It's called paccheri pasta with pecorino, pepperoncino, and peas, something like that.
Yeah? Is that coming?
Yeah, it's all there.
Get ready.
On the shelf, okay? I got to check. Maybe have to scrape the mold off the cheese that's been in the fridge for a while, but the rest of it will be good. Inside, under the mold, is perfect, and you're going to love it. Don't worry.
The holiday season officially starts when you get that first card in the mail. Shutterfly makes it easy to add more meaning to the everyday with hundreds of holiday card designs that can be personalized in seconds with your favorite photos from this year. Select your greeting, customize the color, and even add little extras like personalized foil to make a holiday card that really shines. Enjoy 40% off with code SMILE40 at Shutterfly.com and send something meaningful this year. See site for more details.
This is the plaintiff, Annette Corday. She says she was taking a walk in her neighborhood, and the defendant's unleashed dog bolted towards her and bit her in the leg. The dog's shots were not up to date. She had to get a painful tetanus shot. She was on medication for 10 days, and the uncaring defendant refuses to pay her medical bills. She's suing for the state max of $5,000 for all she's been through. This is the defendant, Millie Rodriguez. She says she admits her little Yorkie, Rufus, got out, but all he did was bark at the plaintiff. The woman claims Rufus bit her, but she refused to show her the bite mark, then started demanding all this money. Bottom line, there's no proof there was any bite. The plaintiff's trying to make money off of her, and she's not going to allow that to happen. She's accused of failing to control her dog.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant's dog bit her in the leg and now wants some justice in the form of medical bills. But the defendant says her dog only barked at the plaintiff. She never saw a bite mark and says she's making the whole thing up. It's the case of Lego Doggy.
Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Corte, you are suing Ms. Rodriguez for $5,000. You say you are out in damages because her dog bit you. Tell me what happened.
I was just decided to go for a walk January 4th, and I was just recovering from knee surgery quite lengthily, and I haven't been able to really walk that well. And I decided to go for a walk with my headphones, relaxing, and a dog came charging out from this yard. A lady was sitting at a picnic table, and the dog came charging at me, barking, and I had my headphones on, and I said, you know, this dog's going to bite me. And sure enough, he ran in front of me. I was on the other side of the street, and he came around the front of me and came around and bit the back calf of my leg.
Okay. What kind of dog was it?
It was white and gray. It was not a Yorkie. It was bigger than a Yorkie.
Okay. And you said there was somebody sitting at a picnic table. Did you say anything to that person?
Yes, after it bit me, I was in shock, and I went running up to the house where I seen the dog run out on the other side of the street. And I said, is this your dog? Is this your dog? I said, he just bit me. I was in a panic because of everything I've been through. She really didn't understand what I was saying. She ran in the house and got, I guess, Mrs. Rodriguez, and then she came out. And she said, what happened?
Yeah, she asked what happened, and then you tell her, and what does Ms. Rodriguez say?
I asked her, first of all, I asked her, does this dog have its shots? Because I was very nervous. And she said, yes, this dog has its shots. And after I called Animal Patrol when I walked home, he did not have his shots. And he actually told me in 10 days, if you don't die, you don't have rabies. And they were going to quarantine the dog. So they did quarantine the dog.
Did that happen? Did your dog get quarantined, Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes, at home.
Was your dog up to date on its shots?
No.
All right. Who was that in relation to you that was sitting in the picnic table?
She was my son's nurse.
Okay.
Just a worker.
All right. And does she speak English or no?
No.
So you weren't out there when this happened, right?
Correct. I was walking downstairs. I didn't hear anything. I was just coming downstairs just to come downstairs. As I'm coming downstairs, she's coming in the door, meaning the nurse, and saying this lady said that the dog bit her, but the dog didn't bit her. So I walked outside, and she was there really close to the door. And she said, your dog bit you. And then I said, can I see, what can I do? She says, I'm going home. She asked if he had his shots. I did tell her yes, because I assumed he did have his shots.
What did she say when you asked her to see the wound?
She refused. She was kind of pretty riled up, but everything she was saying was really nothing in reference so much to the bite. It was more so just calling us stupid. She called the other girl stupid, and she said, you live in the United States, how you don't know English. It was mainly that kind of stuff.
Did you hear that yourself?
At that point, I heard that.
What was it she said?
She was just going on about not speaking English and not understanding and thinking that we didn't know that the dog was supposed to be on a leash.
Because you do know that the dog's not supposed to be loose outside.
I know that.
Right.
And he never is, but the nurse came out to throw the garbage out, and she left that side door open, and he must have got out that way. Yeah. She didn't know he was out until
Ms. Corte, were you calling them stupid because they didn't speak your language, and they should because they're in America?
Yeah, I did not say that.
What did you say?
I said, here's my camera, here's my phone, I'll hand it to you, but I'm not jumping out of, because at this point I had walked back home. And I came back because I came back with my husband. I'm only around the corner. And my husband drove me back to get this straight, the address and whatever we were going to do. And I said to my husband, I was bit by a dog. And so when we went back there, I had the picture of my leg on the phone. I could not get out of this big truck and slide down the truck and show her my leg. I was actually sitting in a truck. And I handed her, nurse or whoever the woman was, my phone, and she handed it to her because I had my mask on because I am
Did the phone have a picture of your injury?
Yes, it did.
Okay, so that's what you're handing to the nurse, who then you say handed it to her. Out of curiosity,
yes, and
when
they
you're
took a picture of the picture.
Picture of the picture. Did you take a picture of the picture, Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes, I did, but
okay.
I don't
so then you know that
jumped.
but you know that there's an injury because I have pictures of the injury.
I don't know that there's an injury.
You don't see. Did you take a
were,
picture of that? Let me see the picture of the picture that you took that somehow didn't show you a bite mark, because there's a puncture there, and it's really.
She sent me that picture just over the cell phone.
Okay.
I never ever got the picture, other than the one on the cell phone.
Okay, well, but you know, the implication is that there was no injury, and she's making everything up, and the nurse says the dog did not bite her, and it's up, but we're looking at a bite, right? And I also know she went to the hospital and she got a tetanus shot, which is very, very painful, and people don't do that for sport.
No, but that's not what I'm saying.
So what are you saying?
Is why did she not show us the bite when she was standing there when
I don't know.
This first happened? Why was she so adamant for us not to see the bite?
I don't know. She drove back and shows you a picture, and right? What difference does it make? That's not a defense. Yeah, but that's not a defense. Okay? Either it happened or it didn't, and I'm looking at the evidence that it happened. I mean, you can see the bruising afterwards. This is when it's healing. So let's go over what you say your damages are. You're asking for $5,000 for that little puncture. So let's talk about your damages.
My damages are the medical bills.
Yes.
The tetanus shot, the office visit, and pain and suffering.
All right. So you're asking for $4,256.53 in pain and suffering. So I'm going to need to hear $4,256.53 worth of pain and suffering.
I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what this is worth. I just want it resolved, and whatever you see appropriate, I'd be happy with that.
All right. I am going to, I've looked through the medical bills. I come up with a figure slightly different than yours. I come up with $612.22. I find that you are entitled to $500 in pain and suffering for a sum total judgment in the amount of $1,112.22. Ms. Rodriguez, your animal, I don't care how big or small your animal is not allowed to roam. Okay? So you need to make sure that you don't play fast and loose with the leash rule. You understand?
No, he's never out. And the reason why he was not, the reason why he wasn't up to date on his shot, you know, I have kids. One just passed, two passed away. So it's just.
I'm very sorry.
I have been like very consumed with that situation since 2018.
I am very sorry to hear that. And I hope that things go better for you and your family. Okay? Good luck, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
So the plaintiff does recover money for her injuries, but not the $5,000 she was seeking. She gets $1,112. There's a big difference there. Ms. Rodriguez, that's what it's going to cost you because your dog got out and bit the plaintiff. $1,112. What do you think about the judge's verdict?
I'm okay with that. I mean, you know, that's what she feels, and I respect her decision.
All right. Good enough.
Thank you.
All right. Ms. Corte, you were suing for $5,000. That's a state maximum. The judge did not award you that. What do you feel about what she did award you, the $1,100?
I feel that we're both very lucky, Mrs. Rodriguez and myself, that this didn't go beyond what happened.
Okay. Very good. All right. So you're satisfied with the judgment that you received from the judge?
Most definitely. Thank you.
You're very welcome then. All right. As you said, you left it up to the judge to decide. And she did.
Doug, real quick, in most states, when a dog bites a human, the dog owner is automatically responsible unless the person who got bitten provoked the dog.
What's the legal theory behind adverse possession? If I can prove I own a piece of land, what difference does its use make in ownership?
Adverse possession. That's the
old adverse possession.
The common law concept that turns a squatter into a landowner or a trespasser into the owner of the land. But here, there are certain requirements. All the states have them. They have this common law rule. It's usually between 7 and 20 years. I know in Florida it's 7, I believe. In New York State it's 10. It varies around the country. But really, just between you and me, it's morally indefensible.
I think so
and
too.
Reprehensible.
I don't really quite even get how it came to be.
We were trying to settle the frontier, and people were marching across this country, and there was all this open land, and the law was kind of favoring active use.
Okay, so I could see it
active
then.
Use of the property.
Right. So I could see it then. But how about now? Where we have.
I agree. Now, I mean, the world's changed, and we recognize that passive use and conservation are really good things. Yeah. And we set aside land, and we want it conserved, and we don't want it exploited or used in certain ways. So I think it's kind of overworn.
Outdated.
Outworn its welcome.
Yeah. And
it's really time to do away with it. You know, why don't we have the legislatures just like pass laws and say no more of this stuff? It's nonsense.
Good idea.